I'm going to show you how to create your own guitar licks and solos. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to show you several cool guitar licks to start with. Then I'll teach you how to turn one cool lick into more cool licks very easily by sequencing them. What this will do is allow you to create your own guitar solos very quickly and very easily. And I'll show you how to do this with arpeggios too. It sounds really cool. Now, I've taught this same lick and arpeggio sequencing technique to thousands of my online guitar students, and today I want to help you get started. So let's begin. All right, so the first example comes right out of the A minor pentatonic scale. It's the second position actually. It's going to start up here on the 19th fret of the D string. So here's what it sounds like. So it works over a bunch of chords. So the whole point is we've got a simple lick. This is quite simple. Then up a step and a half. And then 21st fret with vibrato. Then you can slide away. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our bass line lick, the previous example I just showed you, and we're going to sequence it by playing essentially the same thing throughout the various positions of A minor pentatonic. So that's our bass line lick. Now we're here in the lower position. All right, cool. So now if you know your A minor pentatonic scales, if you know those scales in the various positions up and down the guitar neck, then this should be fairly easy for you. You're just going to sequence that lick throughout the positions down the neck. Now, if you don't know the A minor pentatonic scale positions all over the guitar, you might want to go learn those, but if you're looking at the tablature examples that I provided here for you, notice a couple of things. First, the pattern of the first lick, the bass line lick, is not the same for every position. So you see that we started with a step and a half or 3 frets above the first note. Then we move over a string, and then there's a whole step between this note and this note. That won't always be the case. When you go down to the next position, it'll be just a whole step and then a whole step, or 2 frets in between notes. When you go to the next position, it'll be 3 frets in between notes. Then the next one is 2 notes, a whole step between the 2 notes on each string, etc. Then you've got a whole step here and a step and a half here. And then it will start over again, etc. So that's the first thing to notice. And the second thing to notice is how far to bend the strings. So when we start off, that's a step and a half. When we move down to the next position, this is only a full step bend. It's not a step and a half, it's just 1 step, a full step. When we get down here, it's also a full step. When we get here, step and a half. Okay, so just pay attention to the notes in the scale positions and how far to bend each bent note, and you'll be in key and it will sound really cool. But the point is, it's really easy to take any lick, like the one we started with, and just sequence it up, or this is down or up the neck, or across strings or whatever, and you take one little lick and you've got a nice long series of licks that you can use to make, cool parts of a solo. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a simple little bass line E minor pentatonic lick here. Very simple, just come right down the scale. There's a little slide there at the end. All right, so I mean, that's a really simple scale, really simple little lick. I mean, anyone can really do that. If it's a little quick for you, just slow it down, that's fine. 2. It doesn't have to be played fast. But now, let's take this lick and let's sequence it. Well, let's see what happens when we take this pentatonic lick, and we transform it into a different type of pentatonic lick. All right, so now what I'm going to do is play it up here. And now we can, we've got our original lick was this. E minor pentatonic. And now I'm transformed to this. And this is a Hirajashi mode. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And that sounds really, really cool. Now we can sequence this again, and we'll try it now with the backing track from the beginning. This will be another pentatonic lick in E minor. This is actually a different mode of the Hirajashi scale, which I'll refer to a little bit later. But let's hear it real quick. Sounds really cool. Now, let's put them all together. All right, so there you have it, our original scale, original lick, which comes from the E minor pentatonic scale. And then we have 2 Hirajashi modes. That's one of them, and the other one was this. Now there's 2 really cool things about, well, really 3 really cool things about this Hirajashi modes. The first is that it sounds great in the key of E minor, in this case. The second is that it makes for a really great harmony. So if you have one guitar player playing this, and another guitar player plays either this one at the same time, or this one, those will sound really cool against this. Try that on your own. I think you'll see how great that sounds. And the third thing that's really cool about these modes is that it's not always the same minor pentatonic scale. So it is a Hirajashi modes are pentatonic scales, but the notes are different than E minor pentatonic. Now, I've talked about the Hirajashi scales and modes a few times now, and I've got a video here on YouTube you might want to check out that goes into those scales in more detail. It's called Guitar Lesson, Hirajashi Scales, Modes, and Licks. So check that out if you're into that sound and you want to know more about it. All right, now let's talk about arpeggios. I'm going to play an arpeggio over this B minor chord you're hearing right now and make a little lick out of it. All right, so this will be our bass line lick that we're going to work with. Play it again. And one more time. All right, so there you've heard a basic lick that's based upon an arpeggio, and now let's sequence it. So now we're going to sequence our bass line lick, which was this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a B minor arpeggio up here, in this inversion. Now I'm going to bend up to G, then release the bend, and then hang on this E note right here. So can you hear how this lick is based on this lick. This is a sequenced version of this. Okay? Now we can continue this sequencing up. If I go to, let's say, B minor up here, root position, and I hang on the 7th, this is A here. This is also based on the other two. All right, so now you hear how you can sequence arpeggios. We're basically, I'm applying a B minor here, although I played a G arpeggio. We could have played B minor, then B minor here, with added G note, and then E in the bottom, and then this is A the 7th, bend up to the root B, and then ending here on A. So we basically got little triad arpeggios with a note added at the top and a note added at the bottom of the arpeggio. And it just sounds really cool. Now the theme of this guitar lesson that we're doing right now is very similar to another YouTube video that I had previously published that you might want to check out, and that video is called Play Guitar Great with the Skills You Already Have. And essentially this is really an extension of that video, so you might want to check out both in combination. There's a lot you can get out of this video by watching the other one. All right, so now I'm going to show you a pretty straightforward pedal point lick. We're going to be pedaling off the note D, which is in the B minor chord you're hearing. All right, so let's take a listen with the track. Now from here, we can sequence this same lick by pedaling off of another note, and for now I'll stick to notes that are in the chord that you hear, B minor. So we've got a note F sharp, which is in the B minor chord. We can pedal off this one. You can play it slow as well. Any rhythm or speed that you like. Now we can sequence this even further by pedaling off of a different note. In this case, I'll stick with notes in the triad. So I'll go up here to B. So now you hear that we can take our basic lick, we can extend it, and we could have chosen to do pedals off of other notes in this scale that were not specifically in the chord, but it would be pretty safe to stay with notes that are in the chord. But of course you can do it on any other note in the key that you like. Now let's talk about how to practice this stuff so that you can create your own guitar licks, create your own solos using these guitar lick sequences. So essentially it works like this. You take a lick, any lick that you know or that you create or that you like. You learn the lick and then you ask yourself, how could I take this lick within the same key over the same chord progression? How could I sequence it by moving it up to the next position, maybe next scale position, or in the case of arpeggios, the next arpeggio inversion or position perhaps? And you essentially apply the same ideas, the same melodic ideas, the same intervallic ideas, and see if you can make it work going up the neck or down the neck through various arpeggio inversions or scale positions. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's not really any big secret here. Occasionally you might find that you might need to adjust a note or two along the way to make it sound better over the chord or the song that you're playing when you're creating your own guitar solos using these guitar solo phrase sequences. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell so that YouTube tells you when I publish a new video, and hit the like button. And let me know by leaving a comment below what other topics you'd like me to make new videos on. Now, if you sometimes struggle to instantly recall where notes or chords or scales or arpeggios are on the fretboard, then download my free Fretboard Freedom Blueprint and discover nearly an effortless way to visualize scales on the guitar. It'll help you with visualizing arpeggios and chords and other things as well. It's a short, fast, and easy read, and yes, it's completely free. Download it from the link below.